Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Battlefield. I'm your host, Echo Limits. And with me today, I have my boy Flakfire.
Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. You can catch me on YouTube at youtube.com/FlakfireGaming. Actually did on Twitch today as well at Twitch TV/Flakfire.
I know, I subscribed. We also have my boy Mambo_B.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another Let's Talk podcast. I'm a co-host, Mambo B. You can find me 6 days a week on Twitch /Mambo_B.
And if you're watching this instead of listening to it, you will see that we do have a special guest with us today. Necro, tell them about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Necro. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Necro, Necro. I've been streaming pretty much Battlefield my entire streaming career, and that's why I think I'm here today.
That's awesome. I mean, we all love the game, and we're all here to kind of talk about it in depth on this episode. I don't know if I told you guys, the episode title is called Give Us the Trailer. We demand a trailer. So we're here, we're all waiting for this, patiently waiting for this new trailer for Battlefield. I'm excited.
Degrees of patience. Some of us, I think, are like a bit more excited for it than we're letting on.
Dude, I mean, seriously. All right, so as the podcast works, I'm going to give you guys the 4 topics. Yes, there'll be 4 since we have a special guest today. What's in store? We're going to jump straight into it. And of course, we're going to do emails and open forum for the people who are live with us watching from home while we record this podcast. So the first topic of today is going to be by Mambo himself. And the title of it is, what does DICE need to do to make Battlefield stand out this fall? Interesting. Flak, his second topic of today is, how should DICE say goodbye to Battlefield 1? The topic I chose for this week are, what are some new ways to get the community involved in Battlefield? And our special guest brought a topic with him as well, and it is focused on how do we feel about Incursions and what are some good changes for future competitive Battlefield. So those are the topics. I kind of want to just also jump in, if you are watching on YouTube, hello. You know, if you like it, you can hit the like, comment away. We do read those comments on Flakfire's channel as much as we can. Yeah, tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about discussions and everything else, because you're watching the podcast in some sort of form that's not live, but it's still awesome to have you guys part of this thing. If you ever want to get your question read, we actually got 4 really good emails this week. And the way to do that is the Let's Talk Podcast at gmail.com. And that is the Let's Talk Podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email, we'll read it out, and you could be a part of the discussion yourself. We are going to try to stream another episode before EA Play, because I figure by then we'll have this trailer we're demanding so much. Right, guys?
I don't know. We didn't see a trailer last time until EA Play, so.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I was really hoping that we were going to have a trailer between the last podcast and this one.
Wow. All right. Well, we never know. Well, that's something that is going to be going on in the future. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into the first topic. Mambo, hit us with what you thought, what you want to do on this episode.
Okay, today, guys, we're all gamers, and we play a variety of games, not just Battlefield. And this year, EA's announced new Battlefield's coming, so we're all waiting for that. But my question to the panel is, guys, what do you think the next Battlefield needs to do to stand out amongst the Red Dead Redemptions, the Call of Duties, the Last of Us? What do you guys think Battlefield needs to do to actually say, hey, this is a legitimate game you need to sink hours into?
I mean, it's can we get a list of how many games are coming out? It's crazy, right? We got, I mean, Red Dead Redemption is huge, yes. We got, of course, Call of Duty is a direct competitor, right? Battlefield's coming out at the same time. What else is coming out this October before kind of, well, they're all trying to come out before, what is that thing?
Friday.
Black Friday. Yeah, I mean, Black Friday is real. I mean, there must be a lot, right?
With E3 and EA Play both coming up, there's a lot of unannounced things that could show up as well. So
Yeah.
We got a left curve last year from Fortnite, and people didn't see that coming. So
yeah,
there's always a surprise game that will hit. So what do you think Battlefield needs to do to really say, hey, this is going to be the game for the next 2-3 years that I want to spend time on? Spent 1,200 hours in Battlefield 1. I know Echo's probably got more than that.
I think I have the same. I think I have about the same, 1,200 hours.
Yeah.
So just in Battlefield 1. But I get what you're saying. You know what? I thought about this when you mentioned it, and I really think, you know, you look at the success of like big games like Fortnite and stuff, I feel like those are content creator driven success stories. And if they want to stand out, I think they need to get some real good push on the content creator side. It kind of feels weird as a content creator to say that. It's kind of like, hey, you know, I'm important, you know? But I don't know. At today's day and age in 2018, it seems like it.
Yeah, I read an article about how companies are paying influencers now more money than they are big sponsors. Like, say, for instance, Nike comes in and sponsors LeBron James. Now the companies are spending more money on influencers, people that are in the more like social networking community, more than they are the big icon stars. I mean, that would be a big push, you know, if they did that.
I think for me, anyway, with, you know, what Battlefield needs to do to stand out against the other games out there, I think Call of Duty is going to be interesting this year, you know, with the rumors talking about how it's not going to have a single player campaign. Like, that's not confirmed or anything. That's just what I'm hearing. You know, and we're expecting Battlefield to have a single player campaign. There are rumors about Battle Royale and that kind of stuff. And I think if DICE was to do a Battle Royale, that will help, I think, drive some people, you know, to the game and kind of keep them there. But I think the big thing that they need to do is kill off premium. I mean, that for me, you know, you look at what happened with Battlefield 1, how we really did not get significant new maps until 5 months after launch, essentially, was unacceptable, you know? And it's like, you got people who paid for the premium pass, you know, expecting to see maps, you know, a month after launch, you know, 60 days, 45 days after launch, something like that. That more acceptable window, like, that's an industry standard window. And it took like 5 months to get maps, you know. And if EA's sitting there like, well, you know, we wanted to see more success out of our game against the other games that were out there, it's like, then you need to provide new content.
But Mumble, are you talking about like just getting people to notice the game, or are you trying to talk about retaining the people who already picked it up just by your topic?
It's more of one marketing. You know, when you market, you got to draw attention to your game, and then two is you got to not only your fan base, which Battlefield has a nice fan base, but you got to make it more appealing than, say, a gamer has a choice. Am I going to play Fortnite or am I going to play the new Battlefield? You got to do something to make the players say, I want to play the new Battlefield. I mean, what's your take on it, Necro? What do you think Battlefield needs to do, DICE needs to do to make Battlefield stand out?
I completely agree with a couple of things. The premium pass, I think it's outdated model. It's got to go. When games like Fortnite exist that are running the game free to play, constantly putting out new content, having major community events almost monthly.
I heard they made $500 million in 1 month.
On a free to play game, and it's nothing but cosmetics that they're making money on.
Oh my.
It's insanity. League of Legends is the same way. You know what I mean? And these games thrive on this idea of using content creation for the free marketing, essentially, as well as they don't have pay to win or even pay to play models. Like, they don't charge you anything to play the game. You just jump in and do it.
Yeah,
so
right.
These ideas of developers trying to charge for the base game, which is acceptable, that's the standard model, but however, as well as having a season pass or premium pass on top of that for content that we have to wait for a little bit too long, as mentioned before, 5 months, that's a bit much, as well as in general just waiting for anything like that in general after you put money down. I mean, time in that ideal there is just something that has to be, something has to change there.
Right.
Yeah, and it's something. It's like, you know, I know you think I'm really talking about, you know, like keeping the game populated and whatever, but I'm really talking about, like, if you had the choice between Battlefield 2018 without premium and Call of Duty still doing the same season pass, like, you look at it and say, all right, which one am I going to buy? Well, all the DLC that's going to come out for this game is going to be free. I'm going to pick that one, you know, because you look at it and say, this is a better value. This is something that's going to continue to entertain me, you know, that will hopefully have a consistent player base there. Like, for me, that's immediately going to draw me in.
You know, we have an interesting comment by RL Draxden. He says, don't forget Fortnite base audience are children who are primarily attracted to skins. Now, one of the things about Battlefield is not necessarily a game that's appealing to kids. I don't envision it so. There's definitely kids who play it, but it's a definite more mature audience kind of thing. On top of having the mature rating, you know, so it's harder for kids to purchase and all that stuff. So, like, you can't replicate the success of Fortnite because a rated E for everyone game, you know, accessible to everyone, parents are okay with letting you download it and whatever, you know, it's crazy. But the free-to-play thing is really powerful. I really think that if they want to be noticed this coming October when they come out, would be interesting to have free-to-play weekends. Let people try the game, but don't go through origin trials. I felt like there was a lot of stuff. I'm not even on PC side, but I know that a lot of people complained on PC that the free-to-play origin trial, since you can just constantly do it over and over with different accounts or something like that, that's led to hackers abusing that. So, like, ixnay that. But when you do free-to-play weekend, I believe, I mean, I don't see a reason why they can't have it on Origin, but it's already built into the Xbox and the PlayStation platforms. Rainbow Six Siege, yeah.
Yes.
And Necro, right?
It's the same idea there, where they have free-to-play weekends, and every single time they had a population boost immediately after.
Yeah.
Every single time. They show the statistics every time they do it, and it just skyrockets in player base because they offer it for free. People get hooked on it because they were able to see what the game is about and actually experience it.
Right.
And from there, I mean, any game could really benefit from that.
Yep. And the one thing is that's what saved that franchise from, like, annihilation, because they were not doing good in the beginning, you know. But free-to-play weekends, I really think is going to go a long way, because you think about, like, Fortnite's the big thing. It's free to play. How do you convince those people to go ahead and play some Battlefield? You know, $60, they'll be like, I'd rather go play Fortnite and buy my $20 skin, you know? I mean, it's the world we live in now. Competition is crazy. Games are coming out. But I really think that, you know, sum up what I really felt like, you know, content creation is important. Getting the right YouTubers, the right live streamers to stream it. You get Ninja to stream it one day, it's gonna be ridiculous, you know. That guy is humongous. And just the free to play is where it's at. I think a couple of weekends when it first starts. Do you guys remember the beta? Beta was, of course, free, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how many people played in a beta? It was insane.
Yeah, like there were tons and tons of people playing the beta.
Didn't they say something along the lines that was the largest beta they've ever had?
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't get enough of it. I was like,
yeah, same.
I loved the beta back then.
I didn't even enjoy the map much, but just how well it was actually put together. You know what I mean? Just
Cyanide,
Yo, I love Cyanide. Get out of here.
That were involved in it, and just like graphically, DICE always knocks it out of the park. I mean, every single time. So I just kept playing it just to look at it, you know?
Right.
Cyanide is, I think, one of the most beautiful maps there. It was such a great choice by them because of just the way how good it looks. And that's always been my side piece, like, complaint about DICE is, like, you got so much talent, make your games look nicer. Don't make them drab and foggy and glary, you know? You know, they're beautiful. It's just, you know, that's just something they do. My tidbit on that.
Yep. Okay. We have anything else, guys? Any other things that you think Battlefield needs to do to stand out this winter?
Possibly some type of content creation tools built in game. I believe I heard about Fortnite having some type of in-game chroma key environment. Is that a thing?
What does that mean?
Yeah,
as in you can.
There's a green screen within Fortnite somewhere in the game right now. So
Meaning you can be creative and take screenshots for your thumbnails for your videos, or you can create short videos where you set up your own environment just for fun little things, like community-driven little things, you know?
I'd really like to see spectator mode, like at launch for Battlefield 2018, and
with
would like
some
to see
new tools. You know,
Yeah.
like some
A
robust
replay
tools.
system, please.
Yes,
yeah.
replay system. would be
Fortnite's got
great.
one of those now too, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yep. I mean, that's huge. Those
it's
go
really
a long
getting
way.
to this point where, you know, I think a lot of developers have been kind of lazy in regards to, you know, their creativity in terms of like retaining players and that kind of stuff. They're like, okay, we'll just do the game and then we'll put out these packs and then people will do what they always do. Like, and that arrogant attitude like never best serves the game. Like, so it's another reason you see Fortnite, all the stuff that they're doing, you know, new stuff every week, always something new happening. Doesn't have to be big stuff, you know. There's just got to give you another reason to turn on your Xbox or PC or whatever and get on there and boot it up. Even
Yeah.
if it's just for 15, 20 minutes.
I mean, last week we had Jack Frag stop by, and he commented on that. We had a discussion about the end game recorder, and I think there was a limitation on the Frostbite engine to implement that. So it might be so basic and so low down there in the performance of what it's built on that they'd have to like work out a whole new engine to build that into it just so they can build up the next stuff. And it might be, like you said, Flak, it's sort of kind of laziness because they could go back and rework how the engine works to create a way for the content creators to have an easier time. But
Necro, or not Necro, Echo, I'm gonna point out something here real quick. We don't know the engine that the next Battlefield game will run on.
You don't think it'd be on
I
Frostbite?
think it's just Frostbite, man.
Yeah, but you know, it's on what, Frostbite 3 right now?
I don't even know if they're numbering them.
Yeah, no, they are. We went through Frostbite 1, 1.5, 2, and now we're on 3. Like, what are the next ones for? What if that's built into the engine?
But I feel like they're just adding things, not going back and rebuilding it. I don't know. I'm not a developer, but you know, you raise a good question. We don't know what exactly they're going to build a Battlefield V on, but that seems like one of those interesting things.
So it seems like an overall agreement amongst the panel here is that we think specifically targeting content creators may be a huge thing that they need to announce on any trailer at EA Play, a line in there stating streamer friendly, whether it's streamer mode, to remove what servers we're showing on so you don't have stream snipers chasing you everywhere. Something that comes out and say content creator friendly, that like all the highlights, just one by one, name them out, right? Okay, so that looks like a overall agreement amongst all of us about what they need to do to make Battlefield stand out.
Because I'm sure they'll do their whole spectacle of like ad place and, you know, billboards and stuff in Hollywood. Yeah, they'll go through that, and that's already had them a lot of success, and they know how to build hype. I mean, we still don't have the trailer, and we've been talking about it for so long.
Isn't it a Battlefield player from the PC side that makes the trailers now that DICE now has on their staff? You know those amazing cinematic trailers they make?
Yeah, Floppy Ragdoll.
Yeah, he does some amazing trailers, you know, with bullet time and all that stuff and slow down.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's more than just him. You know, there's a group of them over there.
Yeah, they've taken his thinking and went.
Dude, how amazing is that? Like, you know, they picked up people from the community to do that. That's a real good idea on their part.
They got him, they got Purdue, they got a bunch of people.
Yep. I think Purdue provides our background for this podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I messaged him for permission and everything. Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to the next topic, right? It's an interesting discussion. You know, there's a lot that they can do, but I do feel like we had a good discussion about that stuff in the chat as well. So let's move on to the next topic. Flak, what did you want to talk about?
Well, you know, it seems pertinent here. So today, 2 years ago, we got that first reveal trailer for Battlefield 1 exactly today, 2 years ago. So
they're
going
late.
back and watching that trailer and reliving that, and like how stoked you were about it. Like you saw it, you're like, what is this? This is amazing, you know. And I of course have a you know, a deep personal connection with that trailer.
Oh yeah, because I remember.
Yeah, no, looking ahead, you know, Battlefield 2018 is on the horizon. How are we going to say goodbye to Battlefield 1? Because as much as I don't really want to quite yet, you know, I'm not 100% there yet. You know, I'm excited about what the next thing is. There's still some more life left in the game. So how should DICE say goodbye to Battlefield 1?
Yeah, they've already started with the releasing of free expansion packs with They Shall Not Pass. So I think that's a big key thing they did with both Hardline and 4 as they started teasing and hyping up Battlefield 1 back then. So I think that's a great start right there.
True.
My other thought is maybe offer more community challenges, make them a little more expedited. That way people still feel involved with the game as it's kind of slowing down. Things are ramping up in the other direction for the next game. So you want to keep that population there to keep that hype going, because the more people are talking about it, the more people are playing, the more excitement when the game actually does come out that there will be.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they supposed to release some new weapons?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's
I've
going
seen that in some of the trailers and stuff. People talking about weapons. I was like, what weapons?
yeah,
So
they mentioned
guys,
the weapons crate.
yeah, right. They're calling it a weapons crate. There's going to be a live stream and an update this Monday, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As of this recording live, you know, tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see what that's like, right?
I think that will probably include those variants that we've seen before, you know, like the patrol carbine for the M1917.
Right. As a content creator, I always get a kick out of it when somebody comes from the stream and jumps in your squad with you and plays in Battlefield. And they're like, whoa, so much changed in the game. I haven't played it in 3 months. What are all these weapons?
Yeah,
What is
right.
all? That almost gives me a good feeling. Like, yeah, man, let me show you. Let me teach you.
Yeah.
You try this weapon and put this loadout on it. It's a good feeling as a streamer to have the community come back in later. Let's say they've been busy, they put the game away, they start playing something else, and they come back and say, whoa, this has changed. Oh, this is new. The community maps, Battlefield 4, remember? You came back later, I'm like, whoa, what's this map?
Yeah,
You know?
I love that map. The community was such a great project. And then it had the LMG that you couldn't aim down sights, but you just felt so awesome using.
Right.
I had the Bad Company thing. Flak, I want to jump in as well. Give my 2 cents on the whole how to say farewell to Battlefield 1. And we haven't heard much about the Phantom Project. I hope that means that there still is going to be the ending to the Phantom Project, because I painstakingly did all of the dog tags. Do you guys have the tags?
I haven't done any of it. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna wait until the end and get
Necro?
the whatever it is,
Nope.
you know, off of the map.
None? Not even one?
Not even the very beginning.
Oh my god. Mambo, please tell me.
I did like 2 of them. And then
Okay, good. Because that means, I'm guessing you didn't do the first one, because the first one was like a 5-hour trek, 100%. Like, you
Right.
can't get that one done easily. All right, I did all 3, and I'd be really, really mad if Battlefield 1 ends and that
you
was
were
all
talking
for
about
nothing.
helping one of them. Like, nah, it's all right, Echo. I don't have time, dude. By the time we get it done, my stream will be over. Jeez.
Yeah, I tried to stream it once. It didn't go well. All right, so I hope they finish that. My other thing was, it would be nice. I think this would be a cool and a community-driven thing if they find a way to ask the community 3 bugs. Which ones? We'll patch them. We'll do it. It's gonna get done. So like when Battlefield 1 stops getting updates, at least it's in a state where it's like the top 3 bugs have been addressed. You're not gonna fix everything in a video game. It's impossible. But it's now in a state where it's not getting updates, but it's gonna be playable for years to come if you enjoy the World War I game. Because I don't think we're gonna get a World War I game in the next 5 years.
I think this might be it. I mean,
Yeah.
because they have pretty much played out everything from locations and available weapons and all of this. Like, this is going to be you know, we may not see another World War I game like this for 20 years.
What do you guys think about polling the community to get top 3 bugs addressed before it's over? Before it's too late.
That would be nice. That might actually make it so when I try to climb out of a trench, I don't go prone.
Yeah.
Dude, that was I even listed my top 3 things. That was one of them.
Oh my god.
That's my number. That's my only complaint. I can live with the other bugs. I'm fine with it. That vaulting one has got to go.
The vaulting one,
down
right?
Before I jump over this, so I get shot in the back because I laid down. It's like,
I mean, I don't know if it's common practice somewhere to lay down before you jump over something, but not in my world, you know?
Yeah, right?
It's just not what I do.
I just wanted to jump on the ledge.
I always say when I stream, I always say I'm doing my push-ups, guys. Hold on. You know? And then it was like the flinching one, maybe. Like, you know, when you...
Oh, yeah, the opium.
I actually had a bug today where I got revived, and I had died as I was throwing out a med pack, so my character was just like...
Yeah, I just think that would be cool.
And that's all he was doing.
Yeah,
that and the little wiggle, you know, if they can fix those, that would be...
Yeah, because we've seen bugs from the previous Battlefield carry over to the next Battlefield, right?
Yeah, we have.
Like, what? How did they not fix this? Do they not write it on a whiteboard, items that cannot be carried to the next Battlefield? You know what I mean? We've talked about it, Echo, in the podcast. Yeah. How do they carry that over?
So that just be a thing. Have you guys seen the Road to Battlefield? They started the Road to Battlefield.
No, I haven't seen it.
That's when they're giving away free DLCs. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching right now, I'm sure there's still time to get the French DLC for free.
Yeah, yes, it's until the 15th.
There you go.
Technically, I guess the 14th, but yeah, you still got time to go grab it. So definitely go do it. It's the best one.
On top of that, if you're one of those Battlefield players who are just like stubborn and says, you know what, Battlefield 1, not my thing. Okay, you're still on Battlefield 4. You're stuck in the past, man. All right? You can get Battlefield 4 DLCs for free as well. That's the whole Road to Battlefield that they did last time. So that's cool. You can't complain about free, right?
I mean, it's there. May as well get it.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. So I know they're doing that as to kind of ramp up to the next one.
Even if you don't like the maps, the guns alone are worth it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's my take on like just what I would like to see them to do, like before they say goodbye, like patch some bugs, finish the Phantom project.
Yeah, the thing I'd like to see personally for me is, you know, we had the data mine with the different weapons. They had the Thompson Annihilator in there, the Burton LMR. The Colt Peacemaker pistol is in there, and there's a couple other ones that are in there. I don't remember exactly what they are in my head, but those, like, for me to see the guns that I'm like, you know, if I had the opportunity to see guns from, you know, the World War I era in a video game, give me the ones that I really want to see. So like the Burton and the Annihilator. Like, those are really cool prototype guns. Like, they never saw service, but that's not the point. You know, Battlefield 1 is a fantasy, and we all know that. Like I said, this might be the last time that we see a game like this for 20 years. Like, we don't know. Give us, you know, that. And when I heard about the data mine, I was like, this is the Apocalypse DLC we deserved. Like, these are the guns that should have been in that DLC. So if they give us those, they give them to everybody for free. I think that would be a great way to send off the game there and thank the community before everybody boots up, you know, Battlefield 2018.
Right.
Do you think they're going to give those weapons for free?
Yes. There's no way they're going to tie that under premium or anything like that. That is going to be for everybody. The same way I guarantee they're going to do that for the weapon variants with this weapon crate. Like, no way is it going to be tied to premium. I mean, they're just at the point where they're like, okay, you know, I think we gotten everything we were going to get out of premium. You know, let's give away these other items.
Cool. That's interesting.
Okay.
I mean, do you guys want to wrap it up on this topic? I don't know if you guys have some more input on just closing off BF1. What are the things that you still want to see from the game before it ends?
I would say more battle packs somehow, but through more community events or something, just to allow people more opportunities to get those skins they've been working to get. You know what I mean?
And those
I'm not
puzzle piece
necessarily
weapons.
saying,
Yeah, those puzzle pieces, damn
yeah,
it.
the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've been playing the game since release almost every single day, and I still don't have everything in there, which is a good feeling. That's not have everything. There's a lot to get, but at the same time, I would like to wrap it up.
Going on in your life, you're like,
yeah.
I don't have all the puzzle piece weapons, so I'm not a terrible person.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be able to have at least more opportunity to get these things, at the very least.
Yeah, you know what? Nice thing you mentioned that, Necro, because I'm not a fan of what they did with the Ultimate revision. I heard a lot of criticism, even from the YouTube personalities. I don't know. I did see a Westy video, and he wasn't too stoked about this idea of what are my chances of getting that one last skin I'm missing, you know? Unless they mess around with their percentages, I don't know what they do behind the scenes. I was disappointed. I was disappointed to see that they're like, no more revisions, this is it. Because I just felt like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't get my Echo revision. My Echo battle pack, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. No, it just was like, oh, you know, that's when it started feeling like end of Battlefield, like no more battle packs.
Yeah, I think Echo's revision would just be Benet Merci skins, and that would be it.
It got nerfed. Don't get me started. But they have been doing some other stuff. They're still doing community things, right? I saw some new community missions on there, and they changed the way they do operations packs because they give you 2 skins now.
What?
Yep. If you get an operations pack, you get 2 skins and I believe a guaranteed puzzle piece. And the Russian axe is finally in there as well. It's just that we don't have the puzzle pieces for the Arerabo. But you can get that by playing Incursions, which we're going to get to more when we talk with Necro's topic. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's a neat incentive at the very least, but this should be in the base game too, I think.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, and that is one by myself. And my topic is, what are some new ways to get the community involved in Battlefield? I'm always looking for more ways that we can help. And I think the community, the Battlefield community, is a very helpful community. They want to tell DICE, they want to tell EA what is up, what they think, and how they feel things should go. And it's diverse. It's a huge amount of player base, so you're going to hear a lot of sides. You're going to hear about the guy who loves behemoths. You're going to hear about the guy who loves domination. But I think it's important to hear, you know, listen to your community. So I wanted to bring to this forum right here with you guys watching at home, and the fellas up here on the podcast, is just, there's got to be more ways that you can get the community involved rather than what they're doing right now. Like, can we think of some new creative things that DICE and EA can do to get them more involved in, like, even in the future Battlefield, not only in Battlefield 1, you know? Do you guys have some ideas? Because they already do some of the community involvement. I've seen Jeff Braddock ask people for videos. I tried to retweet him, but it's like, how many people follow Jeff Braddock, right?
Well, and there's things, you know, like I really like it when the developers, like, you see a real, like, noticeable response, right? So, like, I made that fake Easter egg for the LMG0818, and then they went and they put it in the game. Like, that was pretty cool that came from the community, and then they were like, oh, okay, let's do that. Like, that was a pretty fun little bit there. At the same point, they could do something along the lines of, like what better way is there to interact with the community than take feedback from them and put it in the game? Like, so if they had a poll where it's like, all right, here are 4 weapons that we could put in the game. A weapon that has the most votes, it's going in the game.
Kind of like the community map project. That's kind of how they did it.
Yeah,
that's how they named it. That's how they decided what setting it was going to be, right? I mean, they're like jungle or something else. I remember it was like all sorts of different things. I even voted in that poll. And I think some of the things I voted for didn't even make it as the top thing. Like I don't think I voted for jungle, you know, but it won and it came out to be great. So like I was looking at that and I like the fact that you said poll, Flak, because I'm a strong fan and I've been saying this for a long time on this podcast is I want a community tab. I think that's the direction that Battlefield should go. And in there, I mean, when you have a poll, it's like, where do you hold it? Do you hold it on Twitter? Do you hold it on Reddit? Do you hold it on your own forum, on your own website? They're very limiting places because your entire
in the game?
Yeah, exactly. Your entire player base is playing the game, not on your Reddit page, not on your other stuff. You need to put that in the community thing. Now, what can you do? Like asking someone to do a poll sometimes is annoying. But I feel like us gamers, we want to give that feedback. But imagine if you did the poll and you got some scraps for it. Imagine you got a battle pack for it. Like, I think even people who don't like taking polls will just be like, I'm gonna do this week's poll. You know? Why not? And it gives the developers the information they so, like, badly need. They're always asking for this kind of stuff. And that's the thing I think that's gonna help bring the whole community of Battlefield and getting them involved. Make that community tab. What else would you guys want to see in something like a community tab?
It's been kind of a hot topic, specifically seeing people talk about it on Twitter. The PC side of things, I know not everyone's involved in the PC side, but the in-game chat is a very toxic place to be. So I feel like in order to boost community interactivity, people trying to make friends, people working together in the game and doing things in general, they'd be more inclined to do so if they weren't afraid to be encountered with immediate racism or other forms of hatred in general. So a simple filter would go really far. Like it's so simple.
Anything like that. I mean, because it's like literally I just keep that chat on. Like when I'm playing on PC, I do not even turn it on. Like I would love to interact with people in there because a lot of times they will. They'll be like, oh, you know, Flak is playing. Hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. And I feel bad because I'm like, I might be missing out on a chance to interact with people. But it's like, if I have that up and I'm recording this, you know, I'm going to get all that crap that's over there on screen in a video. Like, I don't want to deal with that. And it blows my mind because it's like 100% agree with you. The things that are said in that chat are awful. And literally people say the stupidest things without any potential consequence from it.
Right. It's the internet. But Necro, I know you play a lot more PC than all of us. I mean, we play a lot of console and Necro plays on all platforms, guys. So if you're Xbox fan, PS4 or PC, you can see it all, right, Necro? I don't have experience with this chat, but I'm shocked that there is no filter. There's literally nothing.
Nothing at all. Not.
I can go there and say whatever I want.
I've not seen anyone banned for anything they've said in my entirety of my career.
Okay,
based on what's said
guys,
in chat. Not once.
I'm switching to PC. I have a lot to say. That's ridiculous.
You could not run a clean stream on PC.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow. Not everyone is toxic. Yeah, Jay Hunter, that's true. You know, we don't want to say everyone is toxic, but it's surprising that there wouldn't be something like that.
Huh. Yeah, I don't mean to generalize. Trust me.
Yeah, no. That's not what we're doing.
So many great people just on PC alone, but it only takes one person to ruin the entire idea. And that one word that'll make it go from a good time to someone being afraid to chat ever again. That's a big deal. Just that one word, whatever word it may be, can turn someone off from even playing the game anymore. And that's something that needs to change if you want to keep the game community driven, if you want people to stay involved and on that in-depth level of constantly playing the game and bringing more people into it based on friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like talking about having a filter or something like that. I mean, I would just prefer like a immediate ban from chat for half hour.
Chat ban.
An hour.
Didn't Rainbow Six Siege recently implement a thing where if you say something like that, you're permabanned instantly?
Yeah, I don't know, but I heard about something like that. Mambo, I want to get your opinion on this community thing. Like, imagine we do have a community tab. What would you want in it?
leading platoons of the month of different game types. One article each week on maybe a content creator.
Wow.
Let's see what else.
You know, I thought of, they have a lot of platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Like, why can't their most recent Facebook post be somewhere scrolling, or most recent Twitter post, you know? Get the
right, like make
word
it
out.
where there's 5 devs or community managers and 3 other people, and it updates that community page to link to their Twitter, so you get a feed, like a Twitter feed or whatever, of what they're talking about. You know, I know Jeff Braddock's in over there in Stockholm this week, so he's been posting comments about that. So he's definitely working on the next game. So we want to know, oh crap, that's in the menus, huh? Because not everybody has a PC or a mobile device, or, you know, like you say, your fans are playing your game. Put it in your game. So something to do with leading platoons, plays of the week, maybe something like that. Community play of the week.
And you know, like, they were asking for people for videos, play of the week kind of thing, right? You know, you can have polls on that stuff, you know, and if you submit things, like, why not reward somebody who got the play of the week or play of the day or something? Give them a battle pack. Like, you submit today in 24 hours or whatever, something like that. Like, some things that happen quicker. I don't want something to be like, oh, once a month kind of deal. Because in today's day and age, you want things fast. You want things new all the time, right? So a play of the week, okay. Play of the day, wow. Gets a simple battle pack. Bro, it's not that much for them to give a simple battle pack. And it gets people voting and stuff. You get scraps for voting, maybe. You know, as a community effort. I don't know what Call of Duty does, but I remember playing Call of Duty World War II, and you can commend players. I don't know what that did, because I didn't really stick around that Call of Duty World War II thing, but it was something you can do to one another as a community, like to say, hey, this is a cool guy. I commend him. I don't know why, but maybe you can build something into it. Be the most commended commander, you know, like, that's how you become.
A reputation system like that in other games like League of Legends goes a long way too, because if someone with a good reputation gets a report filed against them, then they'll be more lenient on them should they be found guilty regardless. However, if the person is known as being toxic in general and they push the line a little bit too far, that's when you can really lay the punishment down as well.
Dude, that's a phenomenal idea. So they can keep profiles on people. Like, they already have profile on you. They know your KD and everything else. But now a reputation amongst the community, that'd be really cool. And like, feature some of these most reputable people in the community. Like, and they could be players, not content creators or people who work at DICE, EA, whatever, affiliated somehow. It could just be simply like, yo, this guy's really cool, man. And he did something awesome. Maybe he did a video everyone liked, and that gives his reputation higher or something. Like, imagine that. I think the community tab could have so much power, and I really hope that they bring it all out for the next Battlefield. Fellas, do you guys have some closing thoughts on this community idea or just other ideas? It doesn't have to be a community tab. I just really feel like DICE can do so much better in this kind of area, concept-wise. And you can just shoot out whatever you feel. Maybe the chat, you guys, if you have an idea, I'll try to read it off as well.
In-game leaderboards would be nice instead of third-party websites. Whether it's individual or even Platoon is fine too, or both. If they do both, oh my god.
Yeah, do more with Platoons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now,
does it still say it's in beta? I'm pretty sure
it does. Yes,
beta.
It does.
It's like early access over there.
It's one of the things that I feel like there's a big amount of vocal minority. Like, you see how I did that? It's a big vocal minority there. It's a lot of people who like doing Platoon stuff, and I think that's why DICE hasn't focused on it. You know, it might not be the biggest thing in a game. People don't do enough, but I think it's because they don't flesh out the system. Make sense?
Yeah. Is it Jotun Falk says gathering info on people are borderline illegal, but companies like Riot Games do it with League of Legends. Valve does it with Dota too.
Well, they're not gathering.
Facebook, you know?
Yeah, they're not gathering any information on any.
It's not like they're asking for your phone number.
No, It's just your player information. It's not. We're not talking looking for your private information. No, no, no. It's just you're playing their game and they can keep track of your KD and all this other stuff. And imagine if there was a community-driven aspect to it where I can like be like, yo, I really love gaming with Flak. I'm gonna give him a +1, you know? And that's it. And each other player can give him a +1 and his reputation grows. And then it might be like if Flak does, you know, I don't know, like Necro said, you know, puts a curse word in the chat, maybe he'll, because his reputation, it'll be like, well, maybe it was a mistake or not. You know, there's not an auto ban. You know, I hate dishing out some sort of like negativity all the time. You know, I don't like when devs try to punish the people who pay and play their games. I'd rather have them incentivize and hopefully filter out the nonsense. That'd be a great idea. Yeah, all right. So I think we're gonna now jump into our final topic of the main portion of the podcast. We have a special guest with us, Necro, as a special guest. We saved the best for last. What did you want to talk about on this episode of Let's Talk Battlefield?
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Incursions. It's not been very well received amongst the veteran players, at least from what I've seen in general. So I know a lot of you, or all of you rather, have been in the Battlefield scene for a long time now. So what do you guys feel about it now, and where would you like to see it go for the next game? I personally don't like the idea of multiple scout-based classes. I feel like one scout is okay because that can offer a lot of value, but when it's like just in a regular game when there's too many scouts, there's not enough movement, and therefore you're not on the objectives. You're not, you know, playing with the team essentially. And also it's kind of weird to have a vehicle or vehicle type combat in a smaller format competitive platform, if that makes sense. Like, can you imagine if CSGO had, you know, little cars rolling around, or if League of Legends had some type of special magic tank that you could use? Like, that's just weird, right? It kind of puts too much of a weird sway on it. Granted, both sides get it, but at the same time, if one side doesn't take a tank for whatever reason because someone was selfish and decided to play their own way instead of a team way, or if the team that went into it just picked not enough anti-tank power, all of a sudden they're at that massive disadvantage, right? Right. So vehicles, granted, they're a big part of Battlefield. It's what Battlefield's always been about. It gives you that feel of a battlefield, hence the name. I just feel in a smaller format, 5v5, vehicles don't really have a place.
Yeah, you know what? My feeling on Incursions is kind of how Draxden said in the chat. It does feel like a test to me rather than a full rollout. But to be fair, it is like a early access beta thing. I'm patiently waiting for a full rollout. That's kind of what gets me more excited. I don't like beta testing things personally. But you know what? When talking about the vehicles, it reminds me of a game mode in, was it Battlefield 3? Where it was squads, it was 4 squads, and there would be a tank. But you had to go get the tank. Was it Battlefield 3, guys?
That was a squad deathmatch, right?
Yes, and it was Battlefield 3, right?
I believe so.
And there was a tank, but here's the thing. The tank kind of had to be earned. You know? And versus in Incursions, you're just given the tank. And if it dies, it's just given it to it again in that. So, like, it's hard. I know that they want to put vehicles into it as a competitive game, but I feel like they're not earned. They're just given. And if it was something more of the lines like you somehow earned the vehicle, you know what I mean? It might be more acceptable. Because then it's just, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
I think, and I mean, I played Incursions at Gamescom last year, and I had a lot of fun playing it at Gamescom. Like, I really liked the way that the game mode was for Gamescom. It was a little bit complicated in some ways, but it fit what they were trying to do, in my opinion. And they've since come out with some other game modes, and I'm not sure if they like abandoned the original game mode or trying to do this or what exactly they're doing. But I think, you know, Incursions was kind of drummed up with the idea being that, okay, we can develop something that will be, you know, Battlefield's Battlefield's take on Rainbow Six Siege, right? You know, with that kind of class-based oriented 5v5 kind of mode there. And it's something that, you know, I've played Incursions. I think it's fun. You know, it's maybe not really for me, but that doesn't mean that it isn't for other people, or, you know, that you can't build a competitive community around it. I think with Incursions, the big thing is going to be, you know, how will EA support that? And, you know, it's like anything else. If there is prize money and tournaments for things, people are going to develop teams for that. People are going to build communities around that. Like, there's going to be discussions about that game mode. You know, that's what's going to bring it to the forefront of things. And, you know, we haven't seen any of that with Incursions in its current iteration. You know, somebody was saying that Incursions was, you know, thrown into like Danger Man 1337. And the thing is, like, I don't think Incursions was ever really intended to be launched with Battlefield 1. I think it's supposed to be there for, you know, whatever the next Battlefield is. Like, and I have thought that from the beginning, you know, where it's like, okay, they're going to play around, test some things, try some things out with Battlefield 1, and then have this kind of complete product ready for launch with the next Battlefield game. So I think if they do that, if it's there and available right off the bat, you know, and again, that's one of the keys, that it's there off the bat for this next Battlefield game. Like, you're not seeing a lot of interest in Incursions right now because, you know, we're on the tail end of the life cycle of the Battlefield 1 game. Like, there are not a lot of people out there playing it, you know, or they're going other places where they can actually make some money doing tournaments and competitions and stuff. So I think, you know,
so that kind of makes me think, I'm sorry to jump into it. No. That kind of makes me think, like, do you expect Incursions to be in the next Battlefield off the bat? It
needs to be, if they want to do anything with it. I mean, like, if it's not there, if it's still going to be in beta or whatever, then, you know, then it was just, you know, a year of wasted development.
But here's the thing, like, there. I think Necro brings up a good point. Is he's saying the reception of Incursions is not grand, right? That's what you're getting at, right, Necro?
Well,
and then my thing is right, and my thing is like, is DICE do you think EA and DICE are looking at it and saying, well, we tried a few times. Remember, Hardline was a thing too. They had a competitive, and they tried again, and maybe they're just gonna scrap it. I don't know. You know, we're talking hypotheticals here. It's kind of crazy, but
I don't think so. I mean, because we're talking about, like, there's already not a ton of people playing Battlefield 1 right now, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of interest in it. Ergo, if you're not interested in Battlefield 1, or you moved on to a different game, you really don't care about Incursions, because to you, it's still Battlefield 1. And that's where the inquisitiveness stops. You know, you're like, oh, that's some Battlefield 1 competition thing. It's not worth my time getting into it, because Battlefield 1 will be, you know, replaced by the next Battlefield come October.
Yep, in a few months.
And so that's why there's not a whole lot of hubbub about it. I think EA is really going to try and talk up Incursions if it's part of the next game when that launches. And I think you'll see a much greater reaction at that point, you know, and I think EA will kind of heavily lean on that. You know, they've been developing Incursions for something like a year, you know, trying to point out that they've listened to what, you know, people want, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You know, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, you know. So if it does come out with the next Battlefield game, look at it, see if it's that complete product that they're trying to market, and, you know, see if they're backing it with real money to really make it a thing.
Right.
Right.
Necro, my feedback on it, this is what I have to say about it, is I haven't played, so I can't speak on experience. Echo was playing. I watched him play it. I watched some other content creators play it, and my feeling is it's not Battlefield. Battlefield for me is larger maps, vehicles, squad work, moving from objective to objective, whether it's operations or it's conquest, whatever. I used to play a lot of domination in Battlefield 4, and in Battlefield 3, I used to love Close Quarters DLC when it came out. That was more competitive for me from Battlefield than any other Battlefield that's tried to do competitive. More than Hardline, but I think EA should just say, look, DICE, let's just create another game on Frostbite that's something that's more in line with the Rainbow Six Siege, because the hit detection and the game engine, the server side managing the hit detection works so well with the Frostbite. Let's create a game where we have destructible environments. I look at Rainbow Six Siege, I'm like, they took a lot of stuff from the close quarters of Battlefield 3 and made it Siege, and nobody talks about that. I'm like, I really think they took the ideas that DICE did with close quarters, and they made Rainbow Six Siege, where everybody had a role, all the walls were penetrable, like Zeba towers, the stuff, the bullets flying through there. It was insane. So I think they could create a different game for smaller competitive type game and not do Battlefield. For Battlefield, give us a Platoon page, a Platoon versus Platoon quick match option that lets you schedule against different platoons, a leaderboard for platoons, put it in Conquest, put it in Operations, and put it in Rush, and it's a done deal for Battlefield. That would be, let the community run with it. You don't see Fortnite's community, Epic creating tournaments. It's all these other people creating tournaments for Fortnite, even though the hit detection and stuff in Fortnite, well, you know how that is.
Yeah. It's crazy because, you know, these games like Fortnite, they're not even competitive games. You know what I mean?
But we make it competitive because we're gamers.
Exactly. Like you said, like you let the community run with it and they'll make it into competitive.
Right. They'll give you what you need to do. You don't have to try to think ahead of the gamer. The gamer will develop it for you. So just create a different game, something that everybody has a role. Look at Overwatch, how competitive that is. Just create a game where everybody has the rock, paper, scissors. Make a small player format, 5, 6, 8 players, and run with it as a total different game. Don't try to include it on the tail skirts of Battlefield. I think Battlefield would be best with its own Platoon page and make Platoon versus Platoon leaderboards. I think that'd be the way to go.
Battlefield
Sorry, I
has...
give you a lot, Necro.
No, it's okay. I'm right there with you.
It's
Battlefield
right,
has always been an inherently non-competitive title based on the amount of people on the battlefield. And that's okay. That's why we love it. We like just going out there, having our good times, trying to get those wins, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's other competitive games that we can go to should we want to feel a more competitive edge. Like you mentioned, Overwatch and Siege are right there. Outside of that, I mean, I myself am indifferent on Incursions at the moment. I liked it more when it was new than it is now, I guess. I don't like the little bit of changes that have come so far. I'm just hoping that should it be there on launch for the next title, and let me rephrase this, it needs to be there on launch if they want to take a competitive turn for the game. If it's not there, there's no point in trying because everyone's already spent their time playing the base game.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We have an interesting comment here. Sly66 says, many of the Siege players are well known in Battlefield community. I think I've seen some, you know, like competitive Battlefield people jump over to something like Siege, you know? How do you get those guys to play Incursions? Do you think that's even a wise thing? Maybe they're not the right type of, you know, competitive players, or is it like something that DICE and EA should be concerned about? Like, let's get those guys who were the original Battlefield 4 comp teams, get them back.
Like was said before, they need to start, if they want to take this seriously, they need to start putting more time and money into it rather than the small dev team they have now, which they're doing good for what they have. I really enjoy, I like hanging out in their channels, watching them, you know, show off. Indigoat is leading the way on that, and he's an awesome dude, by the way. And he's just really, really drawn in by his own work, and I love that idea that he's just enraptured by that. However, there needs to be more to it. There needs to be more people on the job, more meetings based on what changes are coming up, and somehow drive more community interaction on it, because right now it's too small. The base Battlefield
I think the only way
itself
to that, Necro,
is small.
Yeah, I think the only way to that, Necro, is to make it a separate game, and then that would force them to put the resources behind it if they wanted to give it its mark, make it its own.
Yeah. I think it's similar to the Battle Royale idea. People are, you know, hyping up through rumors.
Right.
It's like, if they're going to do that, there needs to be a separate title as well. I would like to see a BR title on the Frostbite engine, but not in Battlefield. It just cannot be there.
Yeah, it's not a perfect fit for that whole thing there. Right. All right. Well, that's interesting. I think let's try to wrap up this side, Necro. I don't know. You wanted to give us a full wrap up on this? Any closing ideas from everybody on just simply on Incursions. We've talked about Incursions before, but Necro, you do raise a good point because there's been enough time now that Incursions been out. And what is the reception of Incursions? I mean, we have 147 people watching in the chat, and I mean, how many of you guys have tried it? Do you even know that it's free to try?
Yeah, that's one of those things that have always been on the top of my mind with it, is how many people actively have tried it at least once, played a full round without leaving,
Yeah.
And from there, after having tried it, do you like it? Yes or no? It's black and white. Do you like it? Yes. Do you like it? No. And it's that simple. And I feel like based on the amount of people that have tried it, from what I've seen so far, it's mostly no.
Yeah, I think I would, if you forced me to make a decision, I would rather play Battlefield 1 than Incursions.
Don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I would love to see it succeed. I love Battlefield. I love EA and DICE. I love what they do with these games. I want to see it go further. I want to see it do better, and that's why I give my opinion so openly in that sense.
Well, that's one of the things is, the point of the podcast is not trying to say, like, there's so much negativity out there. There's so much stuff out there. And one of the things I like to say, at least in this podcast, we try to help them in some sort of way. But we are the community, and we do all have different point of views. Just even hearing that, if you're the developer, maybe it helps you at least address some of the things that are not so good about the platform that you're building. And maybe this is helpful in the end, I don't know, but it is good to kind of have a discussion about it. So Necro, I gotta say thank you for bringing up this topic. Pretty interesting one indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that brings an end to our 4 topics. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. And no, that does not mean an end to the podcast, because what we do next is we're gonna go through listener mail, and then we're gonna do open, I guess, an open invitation to the chat that's watching live on my Twitch channel as we record this. And you guys can prep your questions. Now, the way the questions will work, if you're watching and you're active in the chat, all you have to do is put @cast, so @CAST. If you want to ask everyone a specific question, we'll try to do a lightning round where 1 minute or 2 minute answers tops. And if you want to just ask a specific person, like say you just want to know, Necro, hey, you're here for the first time, I want to hear from you about this and that. But so you can just type @Necro and stuff like that. We're going to get to the questions. So before we do live questions, I like to remind people, if you're watching on iTunes, hello. Or you might be listening on iTunes, I don't know. It's nice to have you in here. If you do like the podcast, give us a rating on iTunes. I actually went back and I looked, and there's like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 by now. Really awesome ratings. Thank you guys for the love that you guys show to this effort that we all put together on this podcast. So give us a rating on iTunes. If you're watching still on YouTube, you can comment away. We'll try to get through those comments and pick out 1 or 2 and then see if we can have a conversation about them, because there's always something good to input. I like to say that if you're watching on YouTube and you think some comment is really good by someone, give them a thumbs up so it raises their comment up. And then that's more likely for Flakfire to catch it and bring it to our attention here on as we stream this live and record this live. Okay, and before I do the emails, of course, the email is theletstalkpodcast@gmail.com. And we have 4 really good emails, so I'm going to try to get through them very quickly. And answer them. We have Samba OZ, or Samba Oz. Thank you so much for writing in. Says, if inauthentic customizations are coming to Battlefield 2018, should DICE implement a classic toggle to allow players to avoid seeing it? Hardline did this with mask visual option. So he also puts on his view, but let's just talk about it really quick. Do you guys remember that about Hardline?
I do.
Yeah, because you had some players who had like the wolf mask, or had other things done really silly, and you could make it so that you couldn't see it, right? And I think one of the things that we've seen a lot of feedback from with Battlefield 1 is people are like, my immersion, that's been their thing, where it's like, oh, I can't stand to see this, or I can't stand to see that. Giving people the ability to hide that, I think, is great. If it really bothers them that much, okay. Like if there's some really crazy personalization item out there that just, you know, for whatever reason you mentally can't handle.
Yeah.
give them the option to turn it off. Like, that's great. I think player choice in any way, shape, or form is fantastic. So.
Awesome. Mambo, chime in on this. What are you feeling?
You know, you're talking about turning off customization items.
Right. So the way Samba Oz is mentioning it is like, what if we were playing Battlefield 4 and someone got the all pink jumpsuit, kind of like Fortnite, you know, and you don't like that. You know, there's an option in your settings that says, you know, I want to see people as soldiers. Don't let me see this bogus stuff that people are buying. I don't know. Makes them feel better about the way their character looks or something. Like, some people enjoy that customization.
Right. It's just another item that DICE would have to work on. Are they committed to balancing their weapons better than customization? I don't know. They seem like they did in Battlefield 4, but not as good as in Battlefield 1. So you don't balance weapons by making other weapons more OP than the OP ones you had before.
Yeah, no, but he's talking more like customization.
I know. Do they need to spend energy on customization? Yes. I think that's a huge thing. We see that with popular games these days, that customization sells, in-game currency sells.
Yeah.
But turning off the customization so you have the realistic view of whatever genre you're playing, I think that's the direction they're going to go. They like to tell stories, DICE, whatever war they go to, because that's Battlefield is about past wars or current wars or whatever. So
sometimes fake wars like Battlefield 4 and 3, right?
Yeah, they kind of have a theme. You know, if they did a futuristic Battlefield, yeah, we can't see a guy in a bright pink suit jumping around doing silly dances, doing the Carlton. No, we can't see that. But at the same time, you know, it needs to be customization there. I like the idea, but do I think that will they have? I would rather you ask me. Would you spend? We got a choice, guys. Do we got to spend time on fixing bugs of the game from the last Battlefield, or making a team to remove customization server? I'd say fix stuff.
I think Mambo, they're separate teams, so they're just like, even the person who does customization stuff, he's probably like just gonna sit and twiddle his thumbs and say, I don't know how to fix the prone bug, vaulting bug, you know. So it might not be possible.
EA pays DICE, the devs.
Yeah.
So how much money can they spend? Well, let's have a team that do this, and let's have a team to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have the budget for that. I hear that at my job.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have the budget for that. Or you got to prove that it's going to make money.
Yeah. Well, that's the key, right?
May have been thrown out there. Prove it's going to make money then.
All right. Necro, really quick, I want to get your opinion on this as well for this email. Just trying to wrap it up in a minute, because we do have a lot of emails to get through.
I really don't see the point in making it removable. I mean, if it's really that big of a deal, like Flak said, then I guess throw it in there if you just can't mentally handle it. However, there's a lot of games out there that thrive on customizations for their entire income. Fortnite, League of Legends, Dota, and even Counter-Strike is you purchase the game, but also they make tons of money on customization too. That's the game that was leading the way on that for a long time. I mean, there's still skins that are worth thousands of dollars in that game. So I really don't see the big deal, especially if it's something that could take away a premium model. If they want to make it so there's customizations that you can purchase and only purchase, I'd be okay with that. And if they're going to do that, they're going to make it so you can't turn them off, because that's one of their incomes. Yeah. So based on that alone,
knife trading of CS:GO.
Yeah, it's immense.
Dude, I would be really excited if they actually built like a customization economy into the next Battlefield game. But I'm like a huge nerd when it comes to that. So
yeah, I'd be excited about that too. That'd be cool.
You know, have like customization mining, like forget Bitcoin, like we're doing.
All right, I wanna in the interest of time, okay, Samba, I love your questions. I want to chime in real fast. I'm on the side with Flak. I think if you're going to put customization in, there's no harm in putting a little setting that says I do not want to watch this customization. I know you, in his opinion, Samba mentions that the whole costume party, like Call of Duty World War II and stuff, it's a bit much. I agree, and I would like to see if they do customization in a World War setting or something. Say it is World War II that Battlefield is going to move into. If they're going to do something crazy customizable, then maybe label them as tiers, so you can see normal customization, and then you have like your uber customization. Like, this is crazy. Like, this man has a green hat and he's a German. Like, this doesn't make sense, man. You know, what is he doing? But that kind of stuff, if you have control over that, maybe minimize it, take it out. I don't see a problem with that. As a setting wise, it'd be okay. All right, so Oz, thank you for that question. We're gonna move on to the next email we got. Tyrone Philander, thank you so much for writing. First of all, it says watched all 26 episodes. That's awesome. All 26 episodes. So hopefully you're watching the episode 27 right now. He says keep it up. We even got Jack Frag's attention.
That's like a month of your life you can't get back right there.
Yeah, right. Sorry, we stole it. He says, I don't know if it's only me feeling this way, but I think EA and DICE should push Battlefield 2018 back another year because Battlefield 1 still has a lot to offer. So here are some things he's talking about. Allow an extra player to spawn on the horse, let the community design a new map, look at the different classes and try to improve it, in-game tracking of community missions, add more weapon variants. So there's already, he's listed like 5 ideas that can expand on Battlefield 1. Just really quick, and this is, I'm serious, I'm timing you guys. 1 minute answers. Tell me, how do you feel if they can, like Tyrone says, push back Battlefield 2018, focus more on Battlefield 1? Like, yes or no? And then why?
I'm gonna say no, for the simple reason of, like, that's just not the way gamers in our community work. You know, we are all about, you know, what's the next new thing, you know, what's coming up, you know, and games need to adapt to that. You know, like, I know I talk about Fortnite a lot, but their model for the game is like literally shattered the way that video game developers develop games. Like, if they're looking at it and they want to make money and be seriously competitive, they're going to change the way that they put out the games. And it really just comes down to, you know, like, after it'll be, you know, 2 years, right? People are done with it. Like, they're like, okay, I've been in this setting for a while. I understand it. Learned everything there is to learn about it. I'm hungry for something else. So it's like, you know, while, yeah, there's still stuff you could do for Battlefield 1, it's done.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mambo, quick minute.
Yeah. I would say no. And the reason I'd say no is because they've already announced stuff for the next Battlefield. That kind of shoots you in the foot there. And then 2, Battlefield 1 kind of seemed to polarize the Battlefield community a little bit after the follow-up of Hardline, which really polarized the community. You either didn't like it or you liked it. It seemed like there's a few people came back to Battlefield 1 more than Hardline, but I think a lot of the Battlefield vets look for attachments. They look for recoil. They look for more competitive aspect of the game, and they felt like they took away a little bit of the competitive edge that Battlefield had in the past with Battlefield 1, giving the players weapons that didn't need to reload and stuff like that because they had a 50-round drum mag or a 100-round drum mag. Okay. I could agree with that a little bit. So I would say they're going to do another Battlefield just for that simple reason, because the players are ready for the next best thing. Nothing stays on top forever. Look at PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds last year in E3 was like the creme, like everybody was talking about PlayerUnknown, and now not as much. So yeah. I think new development goes best for the gamers.
Necro, what are you thinking? Push it back? What are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to say no. 2 things. Too little, too late, like Mambo said. They've already announced a little bit of the next title as far as, you know, when it will be here. And as well, the... how do I say this? I think a 2-year cycle is sufficient for a Battlefield title. You know, we get the feel of everything in the game, and then we're like, okay, we're ready for what's next. Within a year and a half, like right now, we're all ready for what's next, right?
Right.
We want it really bad. So,
well, I think we want it. I think we want it because the way DICE treated Battlefield 1, the DLCs have not been, or the content, the way the content's come out has not been something that's got the community excited continuously. You know what I mean? They definitely can do a better job on this front. So to close it off for you, Tyrone, I'm going to say that in general, I really think that getting the new game is the better move right here. But even though Battlefield 1 has a lot to offer, you just simply can't do it all, you know? So thank you so much for writing to us. Great question. We have Will Guy at. He says, hi guys, love your podcast. It's a great way to get to hear about everything Battlefield. I'd love to get your opinion on whether we could use the single player solo maps in Battlefield 1 and use them on multiplayer to give us a little more content. What do you think of this idea? Maybe bots could be dropped into multiplayer to help losing team, kind of like a behemoth. Well, I mean, that's interesting. There's a lot more, Will, and I'm just trying to keep things concise in the interest of time. But I just want to get your opinion, guys. What about some of these single player maps that are already in? I've beaten the single player. Have you guys?
I have.
Yeah. So what about bringing some of those maps?
Right? Giant Shadow was from the single player, was it not? That area coming down the hill on Battlefield 1?
Yeah, that was from the single player.
Yeah, they actually used that in the first Incursions DLC. I mean, trailer or whatever. They say, oh, Incursions, and it showed that area that's coming down the hill in the Battlefield 1, where you had to get the tanks spark plugs or whatever. I think that was that area.
Yep.
In the campaign. Yeah, they could probably use more of the campaign areas. It almost looks like some of the campaign story where you first have to go along with the tank is Argonne Forest. It almost kind of seems like that. So I don't know. I think it's fine the way it was.
I
Necro?
really enjoyed the night variant of Sinai Desert. I thought it was beautiful. I don't even like Sinai Desert, disclaimer, but the night variant of the map was just gorgeous, and I would have loved to have seen that released alongside Nivell Nights and Parisa de Tiur. I think that would have been a perfect addition to that.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm on the same page with Necro. I'm not a fan of night maps, but Night Sinai looked beautiful, and I was always puzzled why they can't just turn the lights off on that map. Even for a week, you know, make it like a fun thing. Like, oh, this is 1 week. It's going to be off. Go play it. And then they turn the lights back on. And it just, you know, something like that. Really cool. It's already in the game. It's pretty much spot on the same map, right?
As
in the single player, in the multiplayer Sinai, right?
Yeah.
So it's surprising. It's surprising. But Flak is now AFK, so he's not going to chime into it. But thank you so much for writing in. Great question anyway. Will, we really appreciate it. Our last question before we open up to the forum to everyone in the chat. Our last question, email, is from Kyle Berger. Says, hi crew, wanted to say I'm really impressed how you guys keep the content fresh and interesting, even the ramping down of Battlefield 1. He's watched every podcast as well. That's awesome.
Nice.
If I might, he has some suggestions for us, definitely on this tweeting thing, but I'm going to just kind of breeze over your email and get straight to the topic. He says, if you need a topic, here's one that he was thinking about, the viability of Incursions. He's been alpha testing it from the beginning, and it has come a long way, but seems to struggle for an audience. I think one of the biggest drawbacks is that it seems to have to adhere to the parts of Battlefield 1 that make Battlefield 1 feel more casual. Random bullet deviation, suppression, sweet spot, etc. If they're going to put that into the mode, into Battlefield 2018, would it be better as a standalone for like 25 or be a separate thing with a higher skill ceiling? What do you guys think?
We talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of did talk about that with Necro. The only thing is he mentions is if Incursions is going to be standalone, that it would have its own gunplay. See what I mean? Like
a different build to balance.
Right. So the guns behave in a totally different way than the actual game itself. No sweet spots on sniper rifles, no random bullet deviation. You know what I mean? Things that are Battlefield.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's such a drastic change. It becomes like, will this even work, kind of thing.
It's a good idea, but is it worth the time based on population, as well as they would be forced to dump more money into it at that point to pay the people to do that type of thing.
It's too much, right? I might have to say it might be too much, Kyle. You know, I don't know.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know how else to answer, but maybe the discussion we had with Necro pretty much answers your Incursions questions and how we kind of talk about it in depth. So, yeah. All right, so next part of this podcast, last part, we're going to open up the forum to you guys in the chat. If you have a question, at Cast right now or at any one of us, and we'll take those questions from you guys. I gotta say thank you, Necro, for coming out and doing the podcast. It's awesome to get an opinion from a fellow Battlefield community member like yourself.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Streams a lot of Battlefield, guys. If you want to check them out, you can go ahead and plug your channel right now.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Necro, Necro. I stream Monday to Saturday from 5 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and always have Battlefield, at least for a portion of the stream. Always.
All right, awesome. So we have a couple of one. M Hater says, Cast make squads in Battlefield to 10-man or 8-man. Oof, interesting. Should squads be bigger?
Well, they should be a multiple of 60.
Well, okay, so
32,
there's no one left over. I've said that too. That's annoying when you're the one person.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I have felt that it should have been left at 4 people, personally.
Yeah, like 4, 8, 4 I think is good.
I feel like I'm okay with 5, but I wanted to make sense with at least 5 kits. I think 5 kits is the way to go. I don't know why we have 64 player servers. Why we have just 60 servers? Why did this extra 4 come out of nowhere?
Right. Wasn't it because of the commander mode or something like that?
I think it has to do with the power of 2. You know, like some sort of weird, game development thing when you designing things in multiples of 2. You know, binary code.
Yeah, you don't say $5, you say $4.99. It sells better.
Got the Echo the mathematician over.
Well,
It's
come on. We have
3.99. It will sell better.
We had servers that were 32 and 64. I mean, the mathematics of it. It's an interesting question. I like it. Thank you for asking it. I don't know. I'd be okay with 5. I'm okay with 5, but it is weird that the number doesn't add up the way Flak said. We have another question. Okay, let me scroll up, make sure that I'm not missing people. We have AOD JT Storm says, what about RSP and what they could do differently in the next game? And then when it comes out in BF1. I
think they just need to have like a real RSP program. Like if you look at what's there for Battlefield 1, you know, everybody's talking about community involvement. How can DICE get the community more involved? And Necro's over here like, the community will build things itself if you let them. And that's really what it comes down to. It's like, it's not, you know, Battlefield's longevity here isn't doing that great. It has nothing to do with what, you know, a Battlefield is giving them. It has to do with what it's not giving them and what they've been waiting for. It's like they want real, you know, rental server program tools like they had with Battlefield 4. Like they should have taken Battlefield 4 stuff and expanded on it so that it better supports more community involvement and engagement.
All right, I'm kind of want to chime in on this one as well. I just simply think that what they need to do is in that community tab or somewhere or something, advertise these servers. I've bought servers and no one was in them. Waste of money. And as soon as you get your end user, we are the end users, to start to feel like something was a waste of money, I ain't buying it again, man. And I was a avid Battlefield 4. I had the server for 2 years running. I've probably given them upwards of $600 in that time frame just to run that server. And even then it had limited possibilities of how to advertise it. You know what I mean? How it stays populated. Currently, no way to populate it. It's not going to work. All right, we got dogs. Wait, we got Crazy Serb. Why isn't the bomber nerfed yet? Crazy Serb. At Cast, what do you guys think? Why isn't the bomber nerfed yet?
If I was being really cynical to get people to buy premium.
That's terrible if that's true. That's terrible if true.
But possible.
I mean, it's really OP. And yeah, I saw a post the other day, like 230 and 0 in that bomber.
Hashtag balanced.
And it's just like, it wasn't like that before, you know, they went and they updated it, you know, and it gave extra ability there. But I mean, it's bonkers, you know, how powerful that thing is. And I mean, it's also on the fault of the people on the other team. It's not like you can't grab the a rocket gun and shoot at it, or grab a light MG and shoot at it, you know, or get an airplane or get an AA truck, or, you know, there are just so many counters you could use on it, and people don't, and they're like, why are we still losing?
Yeah, but that's just the thing, you know, it's just the thing is, even with there's a lot of counters. Battlefield, the way it's designed, for instance, in operations, is to group up on the objective, get as many people on one objective, and it's such an easy play to make, an annoying play for someone to just go in there and be like, I know they're gonna group up on B flag. And Battlefield 1's nature is it's so open, and these explosives are so wide that it's so overpowered. So I'm on the side with Crazy Serb. That thing needs to go. If you want to keep it the way it is, remove it from operations.
You know what I've seen lately is people spawning in the plane, like staying in the spawn screen until they can get the plane, the bomber. They fly over their intended objective, drop the bombs, and as they're taking damage, they drop the bombs. It's going to die because everyone's pelting it with everything they have. But the bombs are already released, so everyone on that objective is already dead. So the pilot's just parachuting down for a free capture.
Yep.
And it works. That's the sad part.
Yep.
They don't need the bomber to stay up for more than 10 seconds.
I've seen that.
They drop the payload. That's it. It's over.
Operations, yeah, it's like 7 kills, 8 kills, right there and then he gets his buddies to spawn. It's terrible. Yeah, I would love to see them go back and address that. Let's try to keep things moving. We have a lot of questions. We have Dogs245 says, do you think instead of Incursions they could bring back squad deathmatch or some kind of thing like that? It's possible. I don't know. It's just, do people want to play that and or watch that? I think it's more important to say, like, if you're gonna have competitive, you need to make something that's watchable. That's all. Because I think if there's an audience, there will be money in it. If there's a money in it, there will be players who want to play at that level to be the best. And I think that's how a competitive scene creates itself. It has to be the viewership. Yeah. Any comments on that? What do you guys think? Should they just not do the Incursions thing and just kind of focus on some of the old kind of competitive modes they already had?
I think Battlefield has too many game modes to start with anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
spread
that's
too
something
thin.
that we saw added with every DLC. You know, it's a new game mode, and it's like, great, it's going to be active for like what, a week, 2 weeks, and then, you know, the front lines being the exception, of course, but
we have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to keep as many. There's a lot of questions right now. We're getting a ton. M Hater says, should vehicle and plane ammo be unlimited as it is right now, or should tanks planes need to go to base to resupply? Personally,
I mean,
go ahead, Ned.
They already have to kind of wait a few moments for their shells or their machine gun ammo to replenish, whether it actually runs out or if it overheats. So I mean, that's the balance idea there, and I've always felt like it's done pretty well based on that. I think if they, with the size of the maps, even in vehicles, going all the way back to base to replenish would be destroying any idea of team play based on vehicles, and that would take it away from what Battlefield is about, is involving those vehicles in said team play. So I have to disagree.
Yeah, because then you can get people that exploit the AA's near your base and then just shoot you down when you go back to get new ammo and fuel. So you don't think about it now because we don't have it that way, but it's easy. It could be exploited like everything.
Yeah.
So I think the down feature works well, but they need, okay, could they make it longer? Maybe. Okay.
Just get rid of quick repair.
Get rid of quick repair is good. I think, honestly, personally, anything that limits the power of vehicles, I'm up for it. I'm up to try it. Right now, it's pretty bad. The balance is so in favor of airplanes. And if you would give them limited ammo, I'd like to see that happen. And then fix it. Like, I know it's going to have some problems like Mambo. You're probably right. There's probably going to be some sort of weird, thing. But I think it's a good move. And then balance moving from there. I think they're too powerful. All right, we have Slayer66. I want to get to this question really quick. What setting do you prefer, and why? We're not going to go for the why, because we kind of talked about this in length. You probably have to catch up on another podcast. But we have a guest, and I just want to say the setting. Just name the setting, pretty much. What do you prefer, Flak?
For me, I would really like to see Korea or something historical.
Okay, Mambo, what are you thinking for Battlefield 5? What's your preferred battlefield?
Yeah, Korea.
Personally, I'd like to see a modern one, kind of like Battlefield 4. And Necro, you can tell us, and then maybe even explain it since you are a guest. We're gonna let you talk about it, at least why you want a certain setting.
I'm very against the grain here. I'm a sci-fi junkie. I loved Battlefield 2142, absolutely loved it, and would love to see that same idea on a Frostbite engine.
And that was the last time Necro appeared on the podcast.
I know.
Yeah, because Flak can't do his historical YouTube videos.
Yeah.
What
well,
if?
In future history, right?
Yeah.
We have another question from Seth this time. Lately, I've been playing BF1 and seeing the servers say teams are imbalanced. Teams will be balanced shortly, but it doesn't seem to work. Is that broken or people just switching sides again? At cast. Seth, if I may interject before these gentlemen speak on this topic, it is impossible to properly balance that many players. That's why you feel like it doesn't work. I'm a mathematician, and simply I would say this is a too difficult of a task. Nice that they're trying, but look how many games they've already had Battlefield. Look how many times they never got the balancer right. Doesn't mean they won't get it right in the future sometime. But I just feel like it's too hard to do. Too much effort. That's probably why you feel the way you feel. Even though the balancer is in there, it doesn't work. Fellas.
Every time I look over at the scoreboard, I see 0 and 1 or 0 and 2. So people leave and go and come back in. New players come in. So it's constantly, if you look at a server, got a queue or whatnot, or not have a queue, and it's filling up. So balance is very hard, like Echo says. If you got people, oh, the baby needs to go to sleep, gotta go, run. Okay, Flak, I'll talk to you later. He has to run. He's got obligations. He can't stay in the server as long as, say, Call of Duty that has short 5-minute matches. So I think it's tougher for Battlefield. You got Necro?
It's a struggle because, like you said, people come and go for various different reasons, and at the end of the day, the time that each round takes with the number of people are there, I mean, it's just impossible to get any one round smoothly sailing. You know what I mean? There's always going to be specific players that are better than others. That's just the natural way of it. And then there's other, average people that just work insanely well together as a team. That's why they have platoons, guilds, clans, whatever you want to call them. And they bring them into the game, and they just dominate map after map. And you could switch the entire squad over to the other team, but then they're just going to dominate on that side. So there is no true way to really bring about a proper balance.
Yeah. And not when you feature a game that's built around like playing with your friend, allowing you to switch sides to be with your friend and things like that. Like, did you want to chime in, or can we move on to the next question?
I mean, it's something that's like it's a wash. It's like it's never going to be perfect. As long as the teams have the same amount of people on them, I guess I'm sort of happy.
Cool. Kokri PSN, want to check my email again? I will be checking emails. If you guys are emailing me right now as it is live, of course we're not going to get them on this episode. So just letting you know that I see your comment. And if you've already, you just told us you were one of the people who wrote in, well, thank you for the email. And if you have more, just email us again and we will get to it in next episode. I don't take live emails as questions, but thank you. Let's see. There was some other question I wanted to go into. I think it was at the bottom. Sergeant Pepper says, Economist, do you think operations could work in any era in Battlefield? I want to say no. Not the way they have Battlefield 1. And in Battlefield 1, they focus it a lot on the story. So I don't think so. However, with this new shock operations, you can put that on anything. Because there is this one map, which is, I think, the right way to do it. I'm excited for this update. If Shock Operations comes out this Monday, I'm going to be ecstatic. I want to play that. I want to try it so bad. I love Operations.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't play CTE, so I know it's been on CTE. But I'm excited for it, and I think if it's just one map, you don't have to focus on the story at all. It could be any story, and because they made it into 2-map thing, no, to answer your question, for any era, it won't work. But I think shock operations, I think that's what they're going to put into the next Battlefield. It's going to be shock operations, and if they put regular operations, I'd be surprised.
So you're saying it's just operations with no story, right? That's what they did in Medal of Honor. They just had a map that started on each side and ran at it.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
I just look back at some of the missed opportunities in Battlefield 1, for instance. Like, why don't we have an operation on some of these maps? But now they're doing that. They basically told us because there was no story connecting the 2 maps. And now they're putting shock operations on Albion, on Zeeburger, on all these maps that we had no operations on. Because there's no reason not to. You could have easily put them on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zeeburgers. Flak, nice one. Game talking. That's what we're doing, game talking. I think we do have time to answer at least one more question. Gotta say thank you guys. I've been trying real hard to keep up with these questions. There's a lot being said in the chat this episode, and it's exciting. Sergeant Pepper's asking Necro, do you think operations will replace Rush in popularity?
I was a big fan of Rush in Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. It was my go-to game mode. I will say now that where Rush stands, if it remains this way, then yeah, Operations is going to be like the go-to game mode over Rush. If they change it back to how it was back then, however, then we could talk about different things.
Yeah,
I feel the same. Frontlines, Necro.
That game mode is interesting because I didn't like it at first. But as it started to go down in popularity, I saw how competitive it can really be. And that's something that perhaps instead of Incursions, maybe bring back Frontlines, dump money into that, refine that, create maps based around that, create more of like a 8v8 or a 12v12, even like a larger scale competitive type thing. I know I'm triggering many people.
No. You're just triggering me. I think people like Frontlines. I think
I liked it when Frontlines didn't have a time limit. Dude, I played an hour match. My heart was pounding so much because they set one of our objectives and we came back and won after an hour. I was like screaming, like, yeah, that's the only time that I've felt like I've had that comeback moment in Battlefield 1. Whereas it happened all the time in Battlefield 3 and Rush. Happened all the time in Battlefield 4 and Rush. It didn't. We don't have that in Battlefield.
And so that goes back to RSP. Let that happen, right?
Yeah. Right. I mean, but they let you happen a lot with RSP, but they don't advertise it. So you're the only dude in that cool server you made, bro. You know
what's funny is you don't see people quitting out of the games in those time limit matches like they do with the regular matches. Wouldn't that seem like they would quit out more? But actually not, because they're invested in the game.
Let me get my 2 cents on the whole front lines, because I do want to address that. Personally, I think it's a mode that only works for World War I, the push back and forth kind of thing. It is good for this setting. I don't think it's a good thing for the next setting, whatever it might be. I know a lot of people like it. I might be on the other end of that one, but I just don't think so. And in the interest of what Flak mentioned before, it's way too many game modes. If we're gonna have to start cutting game modes out, Frontlines is one of the ones I would cut out. You know, you got to keep Conquest, you got to keep Operations, you got to keep TDM, you got to keep Rush. In my opinion, you know, they're more of staples for Battlefield. Then you already have 4 game modes. I mean, I wouldn't ship a game with more than 4. You know, because then it becomes kind of crazy. So Frontlines would be on the axe for me. IMO. I know I probably upset a lot of people. I didn't say domination. Sorry. I don't like to run around in a circle. We're gonna take this final question, guys, and this is an interesting one. A young Splud 840 wrote, and very interesting question that we've never had a chance to even talk about on this podcast. Says, Cass, do you think DICE should allow modders to create stuff?
Like in GTA.
Amazing question. I gotta say, it's an amazing question.
I would really like to see, you know, the modding community. I say modding, actually create maps. Like, give us the tools to be able to do that. Because one of my favorite games growing up playing was Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, and that had some great tools with it, where you could just go, and if you had the right knowledge, you'd be able to build community maps, and the community would play them, and if they were good, they put them onto their servers, and actually let you play through there. So I think it'd be a neat way for people in that community to get involved with the game. I think that'd be really neat. At the same point, if you're talking about what exactly could modders do, like if it's doing customization things and things like that, I don't foresee that happening, because EA is going to want to make money off of those skins. So giving people the ability to create their own skins and customization options, just I don't think it's going to work. I would totally support it if it was like map oriented stuff.
Yeah, like a map editor, maybe. Like put an extra wall here, put an extra,
like, you guys can see what the community's been doing with Far Cry 5, right?
Yes,
like, there are
I was going to mention that.
Making Battlefield 3
Danny on PC made a Battlefield 3 map, right?
5.
Yeah. That's the guy who made the No Shark Canals, right?
And it was quite accurate. It's impressive.
Yeah, pretty cool that you could do that. I don't know. I mean, I remember my beginning when it came to first-person online shooters was Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. And in that one, I used to download a lot of map packs, like community-created, like closed-off areas. And I used to do like pistol-only kind of stuff. And it was like really cool, and people would join them back in the day on dial-up, That'd be cool. I think it's a cool way. Like, maybe, you know what? I mean, you blew my mind with this. Bringing up this discussion kind of even goes all the way back to my original question. Is like, what can Battlefield do more to promote community? Map editor? Cool. I'd be pretty stoked with that.
Okay, Echo, imagine if they took that community page and had their trailer guys that make these fantastic cinematic trailers, and pick 10 of the modded community maps and do a quick trailer on it. And then the community, through Twitter or whatever, vote which one they want to put in the base game to try out. And then after a while, we'll get a sense, and they can hold.
Well, I mean, I think it should be more. I think it should be more active in that, in the aspect of, you should have the tools to mod the map, right, and go live with it right away. You can get like, and maybe in a community thing, like, remember we talked about giving each other kudos and stuff. Maybe the person who makes the map with the best, has good kudos, it gets risen up. I don't think waiting for someone to create something and then waiting for them to vote on it and then it gets put in the base game is a good idea necessarily. I'd rather see someone be able to mod the game, mod the map with some extra cover here and there, maybe move a building or so, I don't know, and have that be already playable. And then,
Well, and the important thing to consider here, again, I'm gonna bring up Fortnite and talk about how there's something new every week. If you give modders to go and create maps, you're always going to have something potentially new there. And you've got maps that it's like people have wanted to create before and they just haven't. Like DICE hasn't. Like, everybody still wants Metro. Everybody wants Metro still. And they haven't gone and done it. So,
that would be really hard to create a map from scratch. I don't know if they can create a tool to do that, I mean, it would be more like you hate Sinai Desert. Why? Not enough cover, and then somebody just starts putting little buildings here and there. What I mean?
Always said I wanted an underground railroad from to go all the way to the G flag from the D flag, like those carts that you jump on on the railroad that can go down a hill. I wanted that, an underground tunnel with lights and lanterns and going down a quick rail. Something to modify that map would have made it like more accessible. G flag that's out in the middle of nowhere. Stuff like that. But modding tools would be cool. Only reason I don't like it going live, Echo, is because sometimes it can ruin the base game because it gets so like the new thing to do that it could actually hurt your game. Like the role playing in GTA actually hurt their base game modes because then
nobody plays, right?
they don't want to play the races anymore because everybody's doing role playing. Well,
Right.
they could do that to Battlefield too. They could create a map that everybody wants to do this instead, and it hurts your game in the long run. So
Yeah, I guess it's a tough balance there. Yeah. But it's a great question. We've never talked on Young's Blood, so thank you for asking. Really. Any closing thoughts, guys? Because that is the time that we have for this podcast. I don't want to make it any longer than it is. Any closing thoughts just on what we've discussed? I mean,
I think we're gonna see a new Battlefield teaser with the next time we have a podcast.
Yeah, right?
Maybe there'll be one tomorrow.
Give us the trailer? You know, we're gonna yell until we get it. Oh, bro.
Quiet.
Very quiet. It's killing me inside. I'm dying.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. I gotta say, fellas, and everyone in the chat, it's been awesome having everyone in this episode. It's amazing to see hundreds of people come and join us live. Thousands of people who watch it on Flak's channel, and you know, the hundreds and thousands of people we have listeners on iTunes. It's incredible. It's incredible how much people love Battlefield as much as we do, and how many opinions there are. And I want to hear more from everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick reminder to everybody. If you enjoyed the stream, enjoyed the podcast. At this point, you're probably watching it recorded. If you liked it, give us a like, a comment below. Tell us what you think. We'd like to know more. On iTunes, give us a rating. It does help in our discoverability. I want to say we're the most active Battlefield podcast, and there's a lot of effort, you know, that goes into all of this, and everybody puts into it behind the scenes that you guys don't even know. You know, we met for like good 40 minutes way before, doing a bunch of behind the scenes stuff before we can even go live. So pretty incredible. I gotta say thank you to our guest, Necro. It was awesome having you here. And as a part of our sign-offs, we're going to let you go first. Just tell the fine folks who are watching the recording or watching live where they can find you when you are not on this podcast featured.
First and foremost, thank you guys so much for having me and allowing me to be part of this discussion. I always enjoy talking over Battlefield things with other Battlefield veterans, and I think that was a really great experience to be a part of. So thank you for that. Also, you guys can find me at twitch.tv/Necro. That is Necro. I stream daily, except on Sundays. That's my day off where I spend time with the wife. And also, you can find me on Twitter at TwitchNecro. Very, very straightforward. I couldn't get Necro because, you know, someone else has it, but maybe one day. Thank you guys very much once again. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Mambo, tell these fine folks where they can find you when you are not on this podcast.
Yeah, when I'm not on the podcast, you can find me live streaming a variety of games, but predominantly Battlefield is what I call home. And you can follow me on Twitch, partnered streamer on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mambo_B. And if you want to throw a question or comment at me when I'm not streaming, you can look me up on my Discord channel or on Twitter at Mambo_BE.
Awesome. Flakfire, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out the YouTube videos, it's youtube.com/Flakfire Gaming. Occasionally streaming at twitch.tv/Flakfire, and do quite a bit on Twitter at Flakfire Gaming. So check that out.
Awesome. And that was your host, Echo Limits. That's spelled EKOLIMITS, a twitch.tv streamer. So /Echo Limits. Or when I'm not on this podcast, best place to reach me is Twitter, and it is at Echo Limits, spelled EKOLIMITS. Gotta thank everybody for showing up for episode 27. Incredible. 27 episodes. We have so much to talk about next time we get on here. We're gonna try to do a podcast before EA Play, but who knows? Our lives are very busy, and we'll do our best. So thank you guys for watching. Thumbs up from me, gentlemen. Thank you for coming through here and having this discussion. See you guys in the next episode.